Welcome to Lounge TV. I'm Larry.
Sorry.
I'm Joe.
I'm Weber.
I'm Kevin.
Today we are doing a Keeping It Real. I can't sit with my hat like this. I got to turn it like this.
He's keeping it real.
I'm keeping it real.
He is.
Gotta keep it real.
Your head like this.
I'm too short in it, and it bothers me. Today's topic is something interesting. It's called living with regrets. Who wants to start off? I mean, do you have? I'm sure everybody's going to have regrets in their life. Whether they hold you back is one thing, or you move past it, or whatever. You're going to have them, and the older you get, I think the more regrets you actually get.
Yeah, for sure. Because the more life you live, the more things you didn't do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do.
For me, I have a couple, but do you want to start?
Well, I mean, for me, it's just the general. Should have lost weight when I was younger. Before my knees are going bad now. Still could do it now. Should have got my degree in this. Never did. Which I can still do now. You know, I mean, mine are still obtainable. And regrets can be a thing that you can dwell on that can hold you back. Like you were saying, it could be a thing that could motivate you to do better. Like, I don't want to feel this way next year, so why don't I take control of it now and do my best?
Right, and it's a little bit harder now. Like for instance with a degree, because you have a family and kids and everything, so it's very hard to all of a sudden go after that because
it's fine time, yeah.
People don't understand. Like you have one kid, it's one thing. You have two kids, you have three kids. It's a whole different. It's a whole different ball game, and it's not that they. I'm not saying that that's a regret thing.
No.
I'm just because they. Don't,
no, not at all.
Nobody regrets having kids, but I'm just saying it's hard for you.
Oh yeah.
You might never be able to fulfill that, and you have to learn to live with that regret of that, or maybe it turns into what? I don't regret it because really maybe you would have followed that and something bad would have happened.
Right, so it's the butterfly effect. If I would change something from my past, where would I have been?
Well, that's a great movie.
Yeah, but it makes sense, right? You change one little thing, like a butterfly, gets killed, and then everything else in the whole entire world changes.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Kevin, you have any regrets?
Where do I start?
Or do you have just no regrets?
No.
One letter?
I have a few. Not listening to my dad enough, for one. I think every kid gets to a point where they're whatever, you get to 13, 14.
Know everything.
And you just know it all. Nobody can tell you anything. And I can specifically remember my dad being like, "You're gonna wish one day that you listened to me," and 100% he was right. He was right. He had been there, he'd lived it, and not to the specific in order that my life was going at that point. Right. But he had enough life experience to that point where I should have been my dad actually knew, or not just my dad, adults in general,
they have some intuition.
People, role models in general. If people are showing enough interest in you and are trying to point you in a direction in your life, you should probably take that in consideration, because it's not benefiting them to give you that kind of advice. You just need to listen, be a sponge and absorb.
Right.
100%.
That, and I don't want to get too specific with my dad, but I lost my dad at a young age, and just not being in the moment with him and enjoying
or
that.
not appreciating as much then as you do now.
For
those
sure.
moments, right?
For sure. And then just to build more along with that, it was sports. Obviously everybody knows I love sports. Sports are I was gifted enough in the sports to where I should have taken it and used it more, and that drove myself more to be a little and get a little bit further in education wise. So but nothing
That's a big regret for me.
because I look at it now and everybody's oh you I'm I did, I was actually pretty good, but I didn't, but I guess maybe I didn't believe in myself enough or take myself serious enough back then to realize it now. And now it's 20 years later, and trust me, I'm not sad where I'm at in life. I think I'm in a great point in life. I have a beautiful family, I have great friends.
Thanks.
You're talking about me.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know your point.
Well, maybe Weber too. He points that way. That's
No, friends, even Tom, man. Tom's good, cool peeps. So not nothing that's gonna nothing will change my life right now. I am super happy where I am and completely comfortable in my own skin.
But you can't help thinking about
that. No, 100%. Like I'll be driving to work some days. I'm like,
yeah, can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. This is how I drive to work. This is how.
One of my favorite movies is Mr. Destiny.
That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
And it is. It's just that one and the whole butterfly effect.
Yeah,
and if he would have hit that ball, and for all you 80s children out there, Mr.
Watch that movie.
It's a good movie.
It is. The whole thing just...
It's kind of also like Click, right? Because that's kind of like...
Yeah, 100%.
Right, yeah.
Like that is that whole altercation.
That's kind of backwards, though.
I still...
But it's on the same principle. It's like he did things and it changed everything
Well, yeah,
that
he
it was.
couldn't change the past, though. He only changed his... Like, he could change, like, just...
He was changing his present that was changing his future.
I think it fits into what you're saying, like the mundane things he take for granted. He would get fast forward those fights.
Right.
And then every time they would get in a fight, it would end up programming the fast forward.
Or
He'd
like
go,
sex. He fast forward sex one time.
right.
It's like...
yeah,
then it was fast forward after that.
But at the end of it, I hope you guys, I'm running for you, when he goes back, and then now you appreciate everything you have the opportunity to do. Like, in that sense that it is. Yeah.
And just to wrap it up real quick, like I'm not a woe is me guy. Like I think you're given exactly in life what you earn, kind of guy. So if you really got your eye on something, go get it.
Right.
Like, and I know it's cliche, but like you really have. Like people are like, oh man, like poor me. I mean, like you just look at it, you're like, well, look at the path you're leading. Like that's why it's poor me, because you're your own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all mind over matter.
Absolutely. So do you have any regrets?
I've got regrets. I mean, I'm just like everyone else. I've got regrets. Some regrets. I've got regrets.
Maybe how you just said that.
Yeah.
I regret how I just pronounced that.
As much
You
as I have,
rascally wabbit, you.
okay, so as much as I have regrets,
We're not editing that out either. No regrets. We all have to say it now. Make Weber feel better.
No regrets.
all right. So as much as I might have regrets,
I'm sorry.
I'm also really proud of where I am. Like my choices have brought me here. No, this is not the castle in the sky. This is Larry's Lounge. If I didn't make certain choices, I wouldn't have met him. 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 So where I am is wonderful. Do I have regrets? Yeah. Do I wish I could have done things differently? Yeah. But what would have happened if I had done those things?
Right.
So I try not to let my regrets control me.
So what's a regret, though? I mean, but
But I like where he's going with his chosen paths have led him to specific times and places.
So without getting too personal, I have very little regrets of people that are still living. If I have a regret of someone that's still living, I work very hard to correct it, rectify it, and bring it back to what it is. There are a couple I have with some people that have passed. My uncle, who was also my godfather, he called me every day on my birthday in the morning.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Like 6 a.m. every morning. He was the first person to call me.
Well, I don't know if that's awesome. 6 a.m.
I looked
like
forward
when you were young,
to it.
Too?
Well, no. When I was old enough to have a cell phone and all that,
okay.
He would call me, and on my 40th birthday, he called me, and I was on my way to work, and I didn't pick it up, and he left me a voicemail, and it was my typical happy birthday voicemail, yada yada yada, and life got busy, and I completely forgot about it and never called him back. A month later, he died of a massive heart attack, and I never got to call him back. So there's a couple of those types of regrets I have from people that have passed. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah,
you can learn from it. You can take that to heart and say, you know what, I'm gonna make it a point to reach back out to my loved ones that, reach out to me and,
Right.
things like that. So, yeah, I got regrets, but what are you going to do? You're going to make them be the part of your life that defines you, or are you going to make the path you did take the part that defines you?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Is that it? No, I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off in case you're not done.
That's as personal as I want to get, and as point making as I want to get. Yeah,
and that's the truth. You can have deeper regrets than that that you just don't want to share, and that's that's cool. We respect that.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah, really.
But for me myself, it's like I have about a list that's long. Because I'll just name just besides the typical ones. Like when I was growing up, I didn't go to stick it out in college. Didn't stick in the law enforcement that I wanted to. I wanted to do a lot of different aspirations. I was writing a book. I got like 100 some pages in. Stopped writing it. Yeah. There's a lot of things I've done that I regret. None of them really bother me that much. The ones that bother me are exactly what you were saying with relationships that people have passed. Like my dad that has passed, and my brother in specific. And my brother, what bothers me, that I never got to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with him ever. And my brother was, I'd say, close to 10 years, maybe 8 years older than I was. So he went to Vietnam. And he was and I've mentioned my brother before many times, and you know who I'm talking about, Woody's dad. And he was the coolest brother ever. Both my brothers were really cool, but he would always play with us as kids and stuff like that. Taught us basketball, taught us football, all that kind of stuff. But he would play Monopoly, all that kind of stuff with us and make it fun. And when he went to Vietnam, when he came back, we treated him different. We weren't as friendly with him because when he came back, it was a few years later, and it was like he was a different person to us. He was all of a sudden like not the same. He grew up like tremendously. He wasn't quite the same to us. And you know how kids are. Yeah. Kids are like get a little shy, whatever. And I know now because I've talked to my sister about it that it bothered him how we acted towards him. And I just wish that I could have that conversation. It's like, dude, we loved you just as much when you came back as when you left. The only difference is that we were kids. And we didn't know how to act towards you. And it's like, he was the coolest brother ever. And it's like, I just wish that I could have told him that. And it's the same thing with my dad. When my dad never told me he loved me, ever. But it was understood kind of a thing. Like, we knew that he did, but he never said it. But did I say it back? Because I could have said it to him, but I didn't say it.
Right.
Because it was kind of the same thing, awkward and everything. And I wish that I could have had that conversation with my dad, that where we could just sit down and just talk about that. And these are the kind of regrets that you can't change. Like their history, that's past. Yeah. There's no present with that kind of a scenario. That's gone. That's why everybody should take the present, because you only have this and now. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Everything that happened just a second ago is gone. So it's like you got to learn to appreciate what it is now and make every moment count for what it is, because you don't want to live with regrets that eat you up or anything like that. But I will agree with you guys on what you guys said, and that is that I think if you take away or add anything to us, we would not be who we are right now.
Right, exactly.
Just like the butterfly fly effect that you were talking about. It's like we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't experience exactly everything that we did. Could we be a better person? Yeah, but we could be way worse too. We don't know.
And what's better? You know what I mean? What's better?
Right.
Maybe I had more money, different job, live in a different town. Right. Is that better? No, not necessarily. Maybe I'd be just miserable there. Right. For different. Not that I'm miserable here.
I can specifically.
But for different reasons.
Say, I'm sorry, not there to talk, but I can. For me, my dad dying when he did, like I went from here to here, on two. Like I could have went here on one path, and I made it, and I would have never met Weber. I would have never met my wife.
Right.
I wouldn't have had my kids. So it's led me to a path that where like. Maybe it was that like I am so at peace
Right.
with
And
that,
and that's key.
like
And
I
that's-
am. I'm
right.
like I'm not.
Yeah, you have to be happy with where you're at, making
Yeah.
the most of it.
Yeah,
You
like
can't-
I would literally have never met my wife
you
Right.
can't let your
because I
regret-
was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I do want to go to concerts and
Right.
see a lot of music,
Right.
which I did.
And that's the thing is like everybody's going to have regrets. The thing is that you have to deal with them, but you have in life. What the most important thing that you can learn in life is to be happy and to find happiness. And if you find happiness, you cling on to that bitch like it's the end of the world. That's the most important thing for your soul to have is happiness. Guys, we could go on to this topic probably for a really long time. We're going to cut it off now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And it was kind of deep.
Yeah.
It wasn't just keeping it real; it was actually
Yeah.
keeping it really deep.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
It's not.
it was
We don't
deep.
even talk a lot like
No.
with
No.
each other about this, but no.
Yeah.
It was,
So yeah,
not
but we're
being-
keeping
We're
it real.
keeping it
'cause
real.
These are things that everybody deals with.
Yes, they're important to
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let regrets hold you back.
It starts
Right.
with you.
That's
does.
exactly, and appreciate every moment you have right now, so that you
have
don't
to.
have any regrets.
Cherish. Yeah.
Well, guys, until next time, grab yourself something cold to drink, put your feet on, relax. We'll meet you at the lounge.
Every time.
Hey, very loud.
Every time.
Very distracting.
I was like, what was that? Was that your throat?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, gulp, gulp.
I'm like a gall over here. Like I have the gall
Puts a hole in
gullet.
my ceiling out there and it gulps.
This ceiling seems taller.